Yes, Earl's back. This is the first $1 million man in bowling, Earl Anthony. A great left-hander. A 6-time national champion, usually unemotional, but in setting the mark, happy that he did it, but always cheered on by his wife, Susie, who now in the 90s goes for his second seniors title in Las Vegas. This Hall of Famer is our tournament leader today. Stay tuned. ABC Sports presents live in its 29th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour, today from Las Vegas, the $110,000 Showboat PBA Senior Invitational. Our first game features 5th-seeded Bus Oswalt of Muncie, Indiana. He'll face veteran Robert Gibbs of Abilene, Texas. That winner will bowl 5-time Senior Tour champion Teata Semiz of Wanacue, New Jersey. In the semifinal match, 2nd-seeded John Hricsina of Franklin, Pennsylvania is looking for his first PBA victory. And our tournament leader is the PBA's winningest champion with 41 national titles, Earl Anthony of Cornelius, Oregon. That's our talented field of senior pros for today's Professional Bowlers Tour Seniors telecast. In 1931, the United States government began a project here to harness and control the wild, rampaging Colorado River. After 5 years of work by 3,500 workers, they accomplished the mission. And there it is today, Hoover Dam, built at a cost of $175 million. Hello again, I'm Chris Schenkel. The Hoover Dam is the highest of all the concrete dams in the Western Hemisphere, 726 feet tall. But the amazing fact is this, the base is 660 feet thick, more than the length of 2 football fields. The Hoover Dam has managed and controlled the Colorado better than any river in the entire world, and at the same time provided flood control, irrigation to countless millions of acres, and also hydroelectric power. And by backing up, damming up the Colorado, Lake Mead was formed 115 miles long for recreation. At the base, the thickness, there's enough concrete there to build a 2-lane highway from San Francisco to New York. Well, from here, let's go up the highway now, about 30 miles, to my colleague at the Showboat, Nelson Burton Jr.
Thank you, Chris. The Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Lanes, one of the largest in the world, 106 lanes. And this is the 3rd PBA tournament we have at the Showboat this year. We had the touring players here in January, the touring doubles last week, and today we have the Touring Seniors Invitational, the first time that the seniors have ever been on ABC television. And the crowds have been just absolutely fantastic. They've actually been better than for the touring players. And one of the reasons being is some of the great stars are playing on the Seniors Tour. And the man in the announce booth with me is the greatest of all those stars. He's our tournament leader this week, Earl Anthony. And Earl, you retired from the regular tour in your mid-40s, right at the top of the game. Why did you actually stop bowling on the regular tour?
I just got tired of it. Well, I got to the point where I didn't enjoy doing it anymore. There were a lot of other things I'd rather do, and now I'm back out here bowling with these guys again, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a different atmosphere, completely different atmosphere. When you're bowling on the tour, you're trying to make a living. When you're bowling with the seniors, you're out here to have a good time, and the guys, they're still very competitive. And as far as that greatest bowler in the world thing, there's a great one right in front of me down here, Vic Weber. I don't think you can beat that.
All right, Earl, we're looking forward to seeing you in the championship game. Let's take a look at the championship pair. The championship pair for the seniors this week is oiled 41 feet. It's dry on the back end, and there's a little bit heavier oil in the center for the seniors. They gave them just a little bit of break, but it's still a very demanding lane condition. For the right-handers, the 4 right-handers before Earl Anthony, the shot is around the second arrow into the 1-3. Earl Anthony in the championship game will be playing the second arrow from the left side into the 1-2. And Chris, has a nice prize fund out there today, too.
There really is. A total of $110,000 broken down in this way. The winner today, 13 grand, 7, 5, 4,500, and 4. And we have 5 wonderful professional bowlers. And we begin with a Hoosier from Muncie, Indiana, Bus Oswalt, 53 years old, been a PBA member for 21 years. This is the 4th time he's been on television, and he has the honor of the first shot on the left lane. leaving the 6-10. 6'2", 200 pounds, 53 years old. What a thrill for him, Bo, to get back out here and make the finals in a field, from a field of 280.
A large field, you're right, Chris. And Buzz has 5 years of touring experience, the end of the 70s and quit in 1980s. Always been an excellent player.
As a senior, he's had a second-place finish and a 5th. Now, getting his bowling ball and cleaning it off, Robert Gibbs of Abilene, Texas, 248-pounder. In addition to bowling, he operates a paint and body shop. Bob, with that opening strike, finished 4th in last year's Treasure Coast Open in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Robert Gibbs, an ideal 4-step delivery. Starts the ball with the first step, shoulder-high delivery. Needs to work a little bit on his knee bend, kind of raises up, and he has really good power. He has a good lift and turn, a very strong man, and he uses that strength on the lane with a pretty good-sized hook.
Coming up a little high and leaving a 6'10". The very first PBA Seniors Tournament was in New Orleans, 1981, and it was won by Bill Beach. This is now the 25th Seniors event. This is the first of 8 that are scheduled for 1990.
Gibbs changing balls to a higher surface friction ball and let the ball slide across the center of the lane into the 6'10".
A little apprehensive as you could see him raise an eyebrow because he just did trip out the 10.
Just touches the 6. The 6 takes out the 10. And Chris, you're right. Robert, a little bit apprehensive. This is his first appearance on national television, and I don't care what age you're at, it's still tough. Oswalt with a little more experience, second frame.
Lucky, leaving only the 3-6 with that really high hit.
Oswalt, the father of 4 children, all bowlers. His daughter, 33, Lana, is a 180 average bowler. His other daughter, Nancy, a 200 average bowler. His son, David, at 21, is a 207, and his youngest, Asa, at age 12, is a 150 average. So watch out for the Oswalt families if you're choosing a team to bowl against.
And what nearly happened to his opponent, Robert Gibbs, has now happened chopping the 3 off the 6, an open frame.
Good lesson to be learned by watching both shots, that by Gibbs and this by Oswalt. Both players a little bit under pressure, as you see Oswalt chopping the 3 off the 6, have a tendency to pull the ball. Almost all players, whether you're a top experienced star or just even the amateur in the league, watch the pull shot. Get a little longer follow through. That'll keep you from pulling the ball under pressure.
Nice pocket hit. And for Bus Oswalt of Muncie, Indiana, it's his first strike in our very first game. If you just joined us, the first time we at ABC have covered the seniors event, 50 years or older. The winner of this will meet Teata Semiz, then John Hricsina, and our tournament leader waiting, Earl Anthony. Crossing over and leaving the 5-pin on the right lane.
Robert, who does a lot of league bowling, he still bowls in 4 leagues, and he averages between 2.5 and 2.10, has a ball going left of the head pin. And really, Chris, until he gets to this first commercial, I think he's just trying to get through the first 4 frames, keep it on the right side of the head pin, and he's gotten some good breaks and has a fairly simple spare. If he converts this, he'll lead by 12.
All right, marking with a spare. Earlier, we had a chance to ask Robert if he had ever competed on the national tour.
I bowled in a few of the rabbit squads in the national tour, and I bowled in one national stop in El Paso. Since then, I've practiced a whole lot. I practice nearly every day at lunch.
In other words, instead of having lunch, he bowls. That's why he's lost a lot of weight. Sliding by, and now he is left with the first split of this match. It is the 1-2-10.
The washout in. Very makeable for Robert. Needs to get the ball to the left side of the head pin, drive that head pin into the 10, and to maintain his lead. or he'll fall behind Bus Oswalt.
So now both senior professionals have open frames. Oswalt leading by 2 pins. More following this.
A kiss? Not right now.
You really don't want to kiss me.
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Give me a minute, honey.
Don't let morning breath ruin a good morning. Get Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Didn't I hear something about a kiss?
Right here. Right now.
Kiss. It is time for a kiss.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
Hey, you, put that kiss right here.
The rush of icy clean freshness. Now you can feel it every morning with the power of peppermint. Peppermint Scope.
Nobody can give you a price to repair your exhaust system until they check from here to here. At Midas, you get a free inspection, then a guaranteed estimate with a price you can believe. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
We're back again at the fabulous Showboat in Las Vegas for our very first telecast on ABC of a PBA Senior Touring event. In our first game, Bus Oswalt, now leading by 2 pins. He has a strike up, can increase it to 12. This is his shot in the 4th frame against Robert Gibbs. .610.
Buzz with an ideal arm swing. It's a nice straight arm swing, but he's not using much speed, and he has the ball drift a little bit high. I watched him bowl last night. He was keeping that ball speed up around 18 miles an hour, and that'll hold the line and get the ball in the 1-3 pocket. Right now, a little tense under the pressure. He's aiming the shot. He's down to about 16 miles an hour, and every shot has been high so far.
All right. We asked Bus how he's able to juggle a full-time job and bowl on the Seniors Tour.
Well, I manage the bowling lanes at the Eagles Lodge in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and most of the bowling I do is through the summer schedule, and that's when our slack time is, so that's how I'm able to compete on the bowling circuit, senior circuit.
Chris, that's not far from your home. Have you ever been to the Eagles Lodge to do a little bowling?
Yes, I have. Nice facility. And the American Bowling Congress national event was there quite a few years ago when Joe Norris took me there to try to teach me a little more about bowling. In fact, he taught me a lot about bowling.
Did an excellent job. As we see Gibbs coming up, and the 25-second clock, once it is in effect. 7 seconds left. The ruling's a little bit different than on the seniors on the regular tour. As you see the 2-5-8 left by Robert Gibbs, and the ruling on the regular tour is a warning, $100 fine for the first violation, then $1,000. On the seniors tour, there'll be a warning for the first violation, then a 5-pin penalty. See how that works. It's just on an experimental basis. In other words, if he would go by the 25 seconds right now, instead of having 65 in the 4th, he would be reduced to 60 in the 4th.
Okay. Still 2 pins separating the seniors. 51-year-old Robert Gibbs and Bus Oswalt, his opponent, 53 years of age. The winner will meet 56-year-old Teata Semiz, who, along with Vic Weber, have each won 5 seniors titles.
A lot of the senior players are still using the full fingertip grip. We noticed it with Bus Oswalt, and once again here with Robert Gibbs.
Nice crossover strike. Nice little smile. He'll take it. Now, as Robert Gibbs looks at the overhead score monitors, Bus Oswalt is up. Let's check his grip, Bo.
The full grip. fingertip, keeps those fingers all tucked in nice and neat. It really doesn't make a whole lot of difference what you do with the fingers that are outside the ball, just something comfortable. The full grip helps him to get a nice lift and turn on it, and there's a pretty good shot right there.
What a smooth release. But he left a 2 and sleeper 8. Not that easy a shot coming up.
Oswalt making an adjustment for the high hits earlier in the game. Sends the ball just a pinch wide. Ends up with a difficult spare, the 2-8. Needs this to maintain his lead of 2 pins.
And body English at the line by Bus, who has full-time job at Lanes in Fort Wayne, also the home of Kurt Schmidt, who was out on the tour a long time.
Kurt Schmidt, one of the great players, defeated me in Toledo.
I remember.
Well, let's watch where Bus Oswalt's playing the lanes. He's putting a pretty conventional angle. He'll be standing right about the center. He'll be sliding right around the center of the lane and be rolling that ball right around the second arrow, just a medium hook.
Crowd tells you that with the U of the 10 pins still standing, Teata Semiz practicing off to the right when you hear a pin fall. He'll meet the winner.
The best shot by Bus Oswalt, the solid 10, and even though he left the solid 10, he's right in the match. He'll be 1 pin ahead if he converts, but he's loosened up. He's found the line. In the last 3 frames, he'll be very tough.
Now only 1 pin separating these two. Oswalt in the lead.
Chris, I'm going down to Teata Semiz.
Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. The one and only. Nothing beats it. The clean, the crisp, the cold. The king of beers. Nothing beats the Bud. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats the Budweiser. Nothing beats the Bud.
At Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels, kids 18 and under stay for free. So you'll save enough money to buy them all a new pair of shoes.
Kids 18 and under stay free when you call 800-221-2222.
To prove how long Rain Dance car wax lasts, just add water. Rain Dance, the longest lasting protection you can buy.
Unrivaled races toward a $1 million bonus in the final jewel of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. It's the Belmont Stakes live next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Ah, yes, the oldest and longest of the Triple Crown events, the Belmont Stakes. Sidewalks of New York played as the horses come onto the track. And the bouquet to the winner, carnations, white carnations. How do I know? I did that race for many, many years. Now, Robert Gibbs, of Abilene, Texas, strike up. Can take a 9-pin lead with a strike right here. Nope, high hit. 3-pin. To say that the 5 finalists have enjoyed these moments today is to be putting it very lightly. In each case, each has said how appreciative they are that their game came around this week at the Showboat and were able to show what they can do, national television. All right, as we go now to Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. Teata Semiz, one of your opponents looks a little bit shaky out there, and obviously you have quite an experience advantage. Do you have any particular game plan out there?
No, Bo, I'm just going to make good shots. If I can hit the right lane, I remember the right lane from last year when I led the tournament. It's got a hang spot like 45 feet down the lane. If I can hit that lane, I'll be okay.
All right, Teata, good luck, and Chris, a lot of advantage to Teata Semiz with a lot more experience.
5 PBA seniors victories. And coming up high again, we've seen a lot of high shots. This time the 3-6 for the Texan. It's his second championship round appearance of his career. Fourth at Fort Pierce when he downed Jimmy Certain. And Jimmy Certain, the defending champion here, had to a one-game roll-off to get into the last qualifying spot and lost that game. But he's here in attendance and watching the Alabaman. Oh. So we're still only separated by 3 pins, and the man up is the leader with the spare up. Now he'll be shooting in the 8th frame. Teata seems pretty confident.
Well, and he knows the lanes real well. As he says, there's that hang spot. That's a spot that just doesn't hook. You expect the ball to break on this lane, and it just stays wide.
Oh. There's a lesson on how to do it. Tomorrow on ABC Sports, the top PGA seniors tee it up in Dearborn, Michigan. Live final round coverage of the Mazda Senior TPC. Nicholas the leader after 3 rounds. Trevino close, threatening.
Big shot for Bus Oswalt right here. He leads by 3, 9th frame, can extend to 13. The match is up for grabs.
Sorry about that shot.
Big trouble. There's where he needed to slam the door on Robert Gibbs, and he opens the door. The only thing he can do is make sure of getting that pin count. Go for the 4-7, use a little extra speed. Maybe he can bounce something out, but don't give up the pin count and try to slide it over. Smart shot under that circumstance.
154 through 9, trailing by 9, Bus Oswalt. And now, with the spare up to shoot in the 9th, Robert Gibbs. Vic Weber, who won 3 senior events here at the Showboat, finished 37th this week. He's the leading money winner on the seniors tour at $126,000. .310.
Well, Robert Gibbs is just throwing balls 60 feet down the lane. He's still not acclimated to the championship round pressure, and he's left himself a difficult split right here under the circumstances. Needs to get the ball next to the 3-pin, bounce it into the 10. He needs this conversion to maintain the lead going into the 10th frame.
Well done. Under pressure. A lot of grace. Ah, yes.
7-pin lead by Robert Gibbs. He's looking up at the overhead score projector. He knows that 2 strikes will put him in the driver's seat. If he doesn't throw a double in the 10th and 11th frames, Bus Oswalt still can get up in the 10th and win the match. An interesting visitor, George Foreman, who will interview after this game in town for the heavyweight boxing match next week.
How this game can change with that 1, 2, 4, 10.
Right now, he has the washout. He had it on earlier in the game, and he failed to convert. He needs to get the ball to the left of the head pin, drive the head pin into the 10. If he doesn't convert this, he opens the door for Bus Oswalt. The move on the approach is to the right on the approach off your strike target. Move 5, 6 boards to the right with your feet. Go right over your strike target. It'll bring the ball to the left of the head pin.
So it's a 165 for Robert Gibbs of Abilene, Texas.
The ball goes too far to the left, and he's opened the door for Oswalt. Oswalt still needs a mark and 2 pins to win. Strike or spare and 2. And he's the winner. We'll meet Teata Semiz.
Not yet. 1, 2, 4.
Tough lane condition. We've seen it many times in the championship round. 59 and 60 here at the Showboat Bowling Center has even given the touring players a lot of trouble in previous years. What happens with the low humidity, the high heat factor in this bowling center, the oil or conditioner carries down the lane. It's very difficult to read it. It's hard to get a break point. Needs this to win the match.
Oh, Nelson. What a tremendously disappointing finish for Bus Oswalt, 165 to 163. ABC Sports presentation Professional Bowler Spring Tour will be back after these messages. A word from our ABC station.
Fabulous. Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, is always on the lookout for new ideas in food.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy what? After this, I'm going to get a Big Dave's Deluxe.
Introducing Dave's newest cheeseburger. A quarter-pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, sauteed onions, the works, and it's only at Wendy's.
Hey, does this come with dessert?
Get a Big Dave's Deluxe. But hurry, they're going fast.
When you've got your power stroke going, nothing's gonna beat you. Introducing Power Stick Antiperspirant. 24-hour protection in just one wide stroke. New Power Stick from Fabergé.
We tried this new restaurant. I had a miniature chicken.
Squab.
With a magnolia on the side.
Gardenia.
Tonight it's a sandwich and a smooth, mellow A&W cream soda. Nice centerpiece.
It's a salad.
A&W cream soda. There's just more to it.
Tomorrow, put on your penguin suit, dust off your tails.
Let the magic begin.
Ann Gilligan hosts the splashiest celebration of the year, SeaWorld Summer Night Magic, tomorrow.
Car making noises? You need Meineke's free under-car inspection.
So bring your car to Meineke. We'll give you a lift without taking you for a ride.
At ABC News, we have a singular mission: to report to you what is happening in the world, completely, accurately, in a timely and unbiased fashion. We take that mission very seriously. You can see it in our faces. ABC News, we're America's choice.
Are you impressed that Ford's been the best-selling truck for 13 years? We're not.
Ford trucks, the best ever ran.
We keep making our trucks better. Maybe that's why the sales gap is even wider. Because while we're busy keeping up with tomorrow, the competition is trying to keep up with us.
Ford trucks, the best ever ran.
7-9 financing or $700 direct from Ford on F-Series trucks at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
WHTM TV 27, Harrisburg.
The Professional Bowlers Spring Tour. Brought to you by Scope. The best thing, first thing in the morning.
And here at the PBA Seniors Invitational, the Showboat, Robert Gibbs of Abilene, Texas, wins it by 2 pins, 165 to 163. Let's go back to 1968. Who will ever forget this sight? I was the anchorman of ABC's telecast there, and I'll never forget being back in the studio watching you devastate your opponent, George Foreman, and carried around that American flag, and here you are in Las Vegas.
Still carrying around something not flagged these days, but getting ready to have a fight on the 16, Allison Rodriguez. It'll be with Mike Tyson fighting Henry Tillman.
You could probably defeat Rodriguez and then meet Tyson.
Yeah.
Same night.
Anytime.
Anytime. I know you well.
That's the way I feel these days.
What's your plan after Rodriguez?
Well, I'm going to probably try to get that win. That's most important. You can't count the chickens before they hatch. Then instantly be matched with Mike Tyson maybe in September. That'll settle everything. Then I'll get a chance to fight for the title.
Oh, you had a bowling question, I think, for George.
Well, George Foreman, obviously one of the greatest boxers of all time. Tell us about your bowling, and you going to stay around and pick a winner here for us?
All I can do is chunk that ball and just hope that it hits those pins out there. But no way could I compete with these guys. They're just too good. Too much English they put on the ball.
Well, thank you for coming by, George, and good luck in your match.
Thank you.
Yeah, George, great to see you again, and I hope someday we can do boxing together once more.
Come by Caesars. Get tickets.
I know you'll do well. Good luck. Right. See you, champ. George Foreman, one of the really nice guys that I've ever met, and a heck of an expert commentator on boxing on television. Here's the winner of that first game, Robert Gibbs, also from Texas, like George. So leaving the 10-pin, Nelson.
Robert Gibbs, let's see if he loosens up a little bit after winning that first match in kind of a shocking manner. His opponent, Bus Oswalt, opens in the 10th frame, sliding by the 1-2-4. Gibbs has been practicing a lot. He says 10 or 12 games every day, has lost 60 pounds in the last year, and it's all beginning to pay off here on the Seniors Tour. But he has a very tough opponent in Teata Semiz, second match.
lift. And tension released there after his 2-pin victory in the first game. Robert Gibbs now. Here he is, 5-time seniors champion, 3-time regular tour champion of the PBA. Teata Semiz. Leaving a 6-10.
Teata trying to go directly towards the pocket as you see the 5-step delivery of Teata Semiz, and I think his delivery is better now than even when he was bowling 10 years ago on the regular tour. He's got a much longer, straighter arm swing, good follow-through, good knee bend, in absolute top shape. Dominant player out here on the seniors tour.
Just does get it. One of the real demonstrative professionals we've seen in any sport, having known him now for 30 years.
He almost slides by the 610, but no problem. All you have to do is touch the pins. You have almost 24 inches to convert a pin, a single pin, especially like the 6-pin. Took advantage of all of that on that particular shot. Teata with 3 national titles beat me for one of them in 1970, and when he gets it going can get red hot. One time in league in the mid-60s, bowled 299, 268, 300, 867, one of the highest in the nation.
And the man that had a 300 here yesterday, Teata Semiz. Second frame strike. His opponent, Robert Gibbs, who's just joined us, defeated Bus Oswalt 165 to 163. The winner of this game will meet John Hricsina of Franklin, PA, and then our tournament leader, the great Earl Anthony.
Robert a little wide on that shot, and he's been taking some instructions from one of my good friends, is on the board of directors at the PBA, Lou France. Lou and I won our, as you see, his ball sliding by and leaving the 2-pin, won the national team together in 1965. Lou operates the Bowling Center in Abilene, Texas, where Robert comes into practice, and basically said that Lou has him working on his knee bend, and if there's one place he could improve is get a little bit lower at the line to get that bounce out of the ball.
He's 6'2" and 248 pounds. Standing room only crowd here at the Showboat, where we have been coming now for 29 years, entire span of our ABC telecasts.
Gibbs playing a conventional line, standing about the center of the lane. He'll slide right about the 20th board, as we call the center of the lane. He'll be playing a little bit more hook than we saw in the first game, right over the second arrow, trying to keep it wide.
And another washout. A little too wide, Bo?
That is too wide, but he should have this shot down pat. He left the 1-2 in the first game, and then the 1-2-4-10 in the first game also, and he failed to convert it both times. What he needs to do is get that head pin once again over to the 10-pin zone. In his 2 other attempts, he didn't get over to the left of the head pin. The second time, he was too far. So just split the difference, Robert, and you should be right there.
Another one, 310 earlier.
Great shot. The only drawback to this frame for Robert Gibbs is the loss of pin count. With a 6 count, he's down to 35 in the second. And in a tight match game situation, that's very important. Now Semiz with a chance to take a 15-pin lead, third frame.
Leaving a 3-6. He has been involved in the finals 4 of the last 6 senior events that he's bowled, and as we indicated, he's won 5, as has Vic Weber, the leading money winner, but Teata is second, $104,000. Earlier, we asked Teata how the seniors tour compares with the regular tour.
Well, I think the guys that bowl late in their 40s and the early 50s, who have kept themselves in shape all through the years, can probably compete on the regular tour as well as the senior tour.
Teata Semiz plays to a 5 handicap in golf. Oh, yes. Shades of the past. Teata Semiz is striking the 4th frame and a 5-pin lead. Our second game will return.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
A Motorcraft spark plug has to fire 500 times a minute. Over its life, that's a spark 5 miles long. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
Bowling's big guns head to Northern California to shoot for strikes. It's the Fresno Open on ABC's Pro Bowler Spring Tour in 2 weeks.
Robert Gibbs going for the 3-6. This is in the 5th frame while we were away, going a little over our allotted time. Robert had a strike, only his 3rd of the afternoon, but he has 1-game victory. 5 pins. That's the lead Teata Semiz has. Could increase it to 15. A strikeout. He's shooting in the 5th frame.
Hold it.
Talk to it, and it worked. Okay to bowl.
Thank you, Chris. John Hricsina, you joined the PBA when you were 44 years old and must have been watching a lot of these players play. Are you intimidated going in a position round against the likes of Teata Semiz or Earl Anthony?
No, I'm not intimidated. I'm just happy that I could compete against these guys. I never had a chance when I was younger, and it's just a dream come true, really.
He's in top shape, Chris, and he's going to give him a tough time in the semifinal.
Boy, he's looked good all week. Teata now.
Get it.
With that 3-bagger, Teata, who got it, takes a 25-pin lead over Robert Gibbs. Other finishers, as we said, Jimmy Certain 25th, Dave Sutar 26th. Watch this reaction from the 56-year-old. Teata Semiz, now Robert Gibbs. Spare up, 6th frame. He needed that. Only 2 strikes in his victory, 165 to 163. Then strike in the 4th, now another in the 6th.
Robert Gibbs has to loosen up here, and obviously one of his better shots coming right here in the 6th frame, but he trails Teata Semiz by 25 pins. Teata won't back up and come to him. Gibbs is going to have to throw some strikes to get back in the match.
And with that strike, Robert Gibbs has cut the lead to 15. We're in Las Vegas, where we'll return in a moment.
The Italians lust for anything American. So in cars, Tonio Ligori prefers an American one. And of all the ways to a woman's heart, he chooses the American way. Cool, clean, Old Spice. #1 in America. #1 in the world. Only one deodorant in the world has so many odor-fighting ingredients with the cool, clean scent of Old Spice.
Hey, come on. Is this any way to spend the summer? No. Make it a Bud summer with Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry. Check inside 12 packs and you could win one of 100 Bud label pools. Look for me, Jeff Altman, where you buy your favorite beer, because we're giving away pools all summer long. It's wet. It's wild. It's bud summer. Hey, man, you need sunscreen. You're starting to peel. Whew.
Unbridled races toward a $1 million bonus in the final jewel of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. It's the Belmont Stakes live next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
While we were away, Teata Semiz, who had a comfortable lead, left the 3, 6, 7, 10 in the 7th frame. Then, his spare ball, he left the 3, 7. Did come back in the 8th, though, with a strike. 3-pin lead held by this man. A 2.
Robert Gibbs, who looked like he was completely buried in the 5th frame, put together strikes in the 6th and 7th. Then Teata opens the door with the big split in the 7th frame. Now Gibbs, with a spare, will lead the match by 2 pins, sliding a little wide on lane 60. Once again, we see the players either going high on 60 or light. And that's that little hang spot, as Teata called it, about 45 feet down the lane. When you want the ball to hook in the pocket, it skids a little bit farther. You either have to go around it or point up in front of it.
So, unlike our first match, which this man won over Bus Oswalt, 165 to 163, going right down to the final 2 frames. Other finishers, Don Johnson, 42nd, Carmen Salvino, 41st. Our bowling coverage continues in 2 weeks as the tour's top bowlers head to Northern California. $125,000 Fresno Open. Live coverage begins, that's June 23rd, 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central.
2-pin difference in the match, 9th frame, foundation frame. Anybody can win.
Second powerful crossover strike he's had today, and that coming in the big 9th.
Robert Gibbs is following the saying, never up, never in. He's hitting the head pin every shot, either side, and he's had some good breaks. Key shot for Teata. 9th frame, trails by 2 pins, can take the lead with a strike.
Ten.
Son, an excellent bowler, coming here to watch him. Tommy, 217 average, Teata said. He says, not quite ready for the big tour, but rooting for his dad. Big shot there for Teata, disappointed. Will trail by 2 pins going into the 10th with a conversion.
Tommy, one of Teata's 5 children. Fine-looking young man. And if he grows up like his dad, he'll be okay.
Gibbs wondering what the score is almost. He says, hey, I know I got a 2-pin lead, but this is the last frame. Teata knows what's in front of him. He needs to throw a couple of strikes to regain the lead. Too wide, almost sends it out in the channel, has the big turn on it, and leaves himself a very difficult spare, the 3, 6, and 9. To have any chance in the match, Teata must convert this spare. Without the conversion, he can't win.
First step. Now we notice that our tournament leader, the fabulous Earl Anthony, is up and staying loose with an occasional shot on practice lanes off to our right, along with John Hricsina, who will meet the winner of this game.
Teata Semiz, possible 199. He'll force Gibbs to mark in the 10th and get a good count for victory.
Another 10 for Teata. And he shoots a 198 here. Winner of 5 senior events, Teata Semiz.
Robert Gibbs needs a strike on this ball or a spare in 5 pins to win the match and go on to meet John Hricsina in the semifinal. Must mark.
No. His left. Not an easy spare.
Right now, Hricsina is looking over and saying, which player will I bowl against? Will it be Teata Semiz or Robert Gibbs? Robert must convert the 1-2-8 and get 5 pins for victory. Remember, Oswalt missed a combination very similar to this to lose the first match, the 1-2-4. They're very similar.
No. A 198 to 190 victory. Teata Semiz over Robert Gibbs. Gave it his all out here in winning the first game over Bus Oswalt, and that's how he lost it.
This shot by Gibbs, not even close.
Now it's time to join Nelson Burton Jr. for his bowling tip of the week, and naturally, a tip about seniors. Bo?
Today's bowling tip of the week is for the senior citizens. And to help me with this tip is a veteran player, Burl Withers. Burl, as you've gotten a little bit older, I'm sure some problems have crept into your game. Tell me about them.
Well, Bo, it's dry lanes. I just don't seem to be able to get enough speed on the ball.
Well, Burl, I've heard that all over the country from senior citizens and from some of the other players, and there's a couple of reasons. Obviously, as you get a little bit older, you lose a little bit of that zip on the bowling ball. And secondly, the American Bowling Congress ruling on short oil the last couple of years has allowed balls to hook a whole lot, and people are losing control. Now let's take a look at a replay of how I control the short oil lanes and the big hook. First, I use a little more foot speed, and secondly, the extra loft over the foul line, about 3 or 4 feet over the foul line. This delays the hook and allows you to control the ball on the dry lane surface. Now with that in mind, Burl, a little extra foot speed, a little extra loft, and you'll have a good shot. The crowd tells you the story, you did it properly. Remember, to control dry lanes, hooking lanes, use a little more foot speed to the foul line and a nice loft 3 or 4 feet past the foul line, and you'll have success.
ABC Sports brings you the ultimate bowling home video.
Now, let's get on with the action.
Learn how to fix your problems the right way. Improve your game strategy. And practice smarter. It's Bo Burton's instructional video, Score More. Just $24.98 plus $3 shipping. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
There's no dashboard light to warn you. No dipstick to check. Yet when warned, they could cause your car to lose control and braking. Don't find out your shocks and struts are worn by accident. Get your shocks and struts inspected at your Monroe retailer soon. Monroe, your safety could depend on it.
Ray, step up to the mic. The toughest opponent I've ever run up against. How about you, Steve? Step up to the mic. Kept me on my toes the whole time.
It took some fancy footwork, but I did.
They cured their athlete's foot by stepping up to the mic. Micotin. Only Micotin cures athlete's foot with miconazole. See how it cures while it cools? Nothing's more effective. So step up to the mic.
Winning feels great, right down to my toes.
Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic. Micotin.
Golf's focus turns to next week's national championship. Now get an inside look and a special U.S. Open preview featuring Jack Nicklaus. Tomorrow on ABC Sports.
And here at the Showboat with 5 strikes, Teata Semiz defeats Robert Gibbs 198 to 190. They started here this week, seniors. A total of 280 in the field, Bo.
Chris, and a couple of good stops coming up at Fresno and then down to Phoenix for a hot one right around the 4th of July weekend. And we'll take a look at some of the other players in the field. A big field, 208, 80 players, 204 average. The whole field, 192 to make the money. Here's some of the other great players. Glenn Carlson, Kelly in 7th place. George King from the St. Louis area. J.B. Blaylock, Spezio, Handegard still competing on the big tour. Brenner, Vandergrift. Bruderly, Les Sykes, we all know him. Curtis, he's a winner out here on the seniors tour. Williams, a nice finish, 17th. Bill Johnson can play both sports, golf and bowling. Hart, an excellent player from the Detroit area. Oliver Mabry, Glenn Allison, the 900-man. Kilburn and Harris in 22nd and 23rd. Jack Horner, 24th, and there's the trophy. And one of the great players of all times with us, Carmen Salvino in the announce booth for the semifinal game. Carmen, looking forward to your comments.
You ready, Hall of Famer?
Pleasure to be here, and I have to say that it looks like Christmas came a little early for Teata Semiz.
Well, he kind of backed into the match. Both the matches have been won by somebody opening in the 10th frame. Now we're ready for the semifinal. John Hricsina and Teata Semiz, Chris.
Right. Teata 198 to 190 over Robert Gibbs. Gibbs winning the first match over Bus Oswalt. 165 to 163. Any comment, Carmen Salvino?
I'll tell you right now, I think Teata's going to get loose, and I've watched the line he's playing. He's playing the best line of everyone out there. The other players made a mistake. Like Bo said, the oil was migrating, and they stayed in too much in the center of the lane.
Good point, and as you'll notice, Teata is playing the extreme outside line around the first arrow.
Carmen, it's obvious Teata and the others are enjoying the seniors tour. Are you?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great place for us to be, and I see a great future for us because we get a lot of fans. People can relate to a lot of us 30, 40 years.
And John Hricsina, who really works at this game, the 52-year-old from Franklin, Pennsylvania, the mail carrier, runs a rural route every day.
You see his style, kind of a 4.5-step delivery, very strong in the upper body, has a short backswing, gets very low at the line, good lift and turn on the ball, and in top physical condition. He is out here to win.
Leaving a 3-pin.
You know, it's interesting, Chris, Carmen can verify this. A lot of these seniors never had a chance to bowl as I did. There was no tour around. It was a team era, and there wasn't the availability of a professional bowlers tour. So guys like John Hricsina are getting their feet wet at the age of 50.
So now back to Teata Semiz, who opened with a spare, now shooting in the second frame. Two and sleeper 8.
Very obvious, Carmen, and you can comment on that little hang spot that Teata was talking about. If you send the ball wide on the right-hand lane, it just doesn't come back.
That's true, Boga. Also, if you look at Teata's style that time, Teata has a tendency to, when he gets under pressure, to pull up a little bit at the line, and I think that's why that ball didn't finish.
Okay, good point. Good for all of us to remember. Stay down to the line all the times, but especially under pressure.
Tournament leader Earl Anthony will meet the winner of this semifinal game. 2 pins separating two pros.
Take a look at the line that Teata's playing. Very conventional. He'll start with about the middle of the approach with his feet. Well, he's not playing the line I thought. He's moving out to the extreme outside. He'll probably drift to the left slightly and then roll the ball right out around the first arrow. Extreme outside line.
Two 8-10.
Well, and that's got to really confuse him because he had a shot there in the 10th frame where he went wide and then high, and here he has a very difficult spare, or he has to take the 2-8 and hopefully bounce one of them into the 10-pin. And I mean confused. He went wide in the 10th and went high, and here he pulls it and doesn't get up to it. Carmen talking about lane conditions. Everybody presumed that they put a pretty soft lane condition out for the seniors. Not so.
Well, I'll tell you, the lane conditions I bowl on, I felt like I was in a jungle with a bucket and I tried to cut down trees.
John
Hricsina. Out there.
Very tough, huh? Don't forget following us. Next, Wide World of Sports, the final jewel in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Belmont Stakes. Kentucky Derby winner, Unbridled. Bo, I know, has a pick.
The pick for an upset, Country Day. 36 red will be the early speed. Foreign horse, Go-Go.
And whatever horse runs like John Hricsina is bowling, that's a big double in a 26-pin lead here in Las Vegas.
Made up my mind. I'm going to do it. Why shouldn't I? I'm the one who has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. So before I lose another hair, I'm going to the doctor. I know doctors have treatment programs that are proven to work. More guys are trying them every day. I'm not bad now, but I wouldn't mind looking better.
Your doctor can really do something about hair loss. So see your doctor, or call this toll-free number.
Ready for something new?
Yeah, me.
Booze.
Yes, please.
Wines.
Like you've never tasted.
Exciting.
Pick your pleasure.
A natural blush.
Did you see that?
Blanc de Blanc.
You don't know what you're missing.
Introducing 2 new wines from Boone's. Natural Blush and Blanc de Blanc. A light taste of excitement on perfect lips. Boone's. Refreshing.
Are you?
Hi, I'm Jack Nicklaus. Golf's top players head here to Medina, Illinois for our national championship. Live 18-hole coverage of the U.S. Open begins next Saturday on ABC Sports.
As we're running a little behind while we were away, Teata Semiz, at whom you're looking, left the 10-pin marked with a spare. Now he will try to cover the 2-4 in the 5th frame. And that he does, Carmen, with a lot of ease, now trailing by 28. But first, Carmen, let's go to Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Tournament leader Earl Anthony. It's been a while since you bowled for a title, Earl, and you've been unlucky at the Showboat. A bad town to be unlucky in 7 seconds here. Any game plan?
Not really, just be aggressive, Bo. I've changed my game style, as you know. I got a lot of help from a good friend at home, Dean Johnson at Park Lanes. He's really helped me with my game, so I'm just going to try to be aggressive, keep the ball really firm.
Chris, he's never won here. He has one more chance in about 10 minutes. Back to you.
Okay. Now, Carmen Salvino, 4-10 for Hricsina.
I'll tell you, it looks like on the lane 60, if you let up a hair, the ball wants to jump. Yet if you throw it too far to the right, it wants to have a little skid-out pattern. So it looks like the more sensitive of the 2 lanes, and I think the one that can master that lane is going to win the match.
John now, his lead has been cut to 14, shooting in the 6th frame of the semifinal game.
.210 split, much easier to convert than the 2.810 that was left by Teata Semiz in the 3rd frame. Ball goes wide for John. He needs to get the ball just to the left of the 2-pin and drive it over into the 10. He's quickly up.
Running a good tune. And played on an older violin. Beautifully done.
Key shot in the match. Keeps the pressure on Teata Semiz, drives the 2 and the 10, has a 14-pin lead, 6th frame.
This didn't come up. 1, 2, 4, 8.
Carmen Salvino, Teata Semiz, definitely confused out there. What would be your game plan if that happened to you?
Well, it looks like he's lost the release and he's picking up at the line, like I said earlier. What I would do is tone down my feet, stay behind the ball, and try to get a little ball reaction, and then from then on, try to make my adjustments and see if I can get a double someplace and win this one.
That's a good point, especially under pressure. A lot of players try to put more and more power on the ball. Carmen Salvino says get a little more accuracy, work on keeping that ball in play, and that's good advice for anyone. Now Teata Semiz trails by 18, 7th frame.
Carmen, you finished 41st in this event. Right behind you was Don Johnson, who lives in Las Vegas.
Yes, I was glad to see Don back in the tournament. He's a great credit to the sport of bowling.
All right. Teata had a strike in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th, and now gets another in the 7th. We'll be back.
You know, bowling isn't the only way to spend time with the kids. Traveling can be a lot of fun, too. And when you stay at a quality, Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep hotel, your kids 18 and under can stay free. So you'll save enough money to buy them all a new pair of shoes.
Kids 18 and under stay free when you call 800-221-2222.
Forget the shoes. Get yourself a new bowling ball.
I stained this blue. Now it's blah. This gray stain got old before its time.
You should have used Thompson's Water Seal Stain. Thompson's patented formula combines an oil-based stain for deep color penetration with a durable acrylic and the waterproofing power of Thompson's Water Seal. So Thompson's stain resists fading and flaking, and the color lasts and lasts.
I stained my house with Thompson's 3 years ago, and it still looks great.
Thompson's Water Seal Stain. Beauty that lasts at last.
Bowling's big guns head to Northern California to shoot for strikes. It's the Fresno Open on ABC's Pro Bowler Spring Tour in 2 weeks.
By missing the 6, 7, 10 in the 7th frame for an open in the 8th. Now 1, 2, 8, 10. Hricsina makes it. Getting a little excellence out here.
Biggest shot of the day for Teata Semiz. He trails by 2 pins, strike up in the 7th, 8th frame. He can take the lead, as you see Hricsina's conversion of the washout. Now Teata, right-hand lane.
Come on, come on.
Now a 5, 7.
What a freaky shot. Actually, he is going to rip the 5 pin out, and the ball kind of, watch this pin action. The ball drives through the 5 pin. A pin has to come off the sideboard and kind of parallels that 5 pin. You see the head pin came off the sideboard and knocked the 4 into the 7. Tremendously unusual. Teata with a real bad break, and now a tough split to convert.
So for Teata, an open in the 8th frame, back to trailing by 14.
Carmen Salvino, you surprised at this scoring out here today, considering how good these players really are?
Yes, I'm very surprised, but at the same time, it seems like the oil's migrating down there even more so, and as a result, they should have kept moving to the right. I'm surprised that Teata, an experienced player like that, hadn't realized that. That's the only thing I'm really surprised at.
Good point, Carmen, and once again, Teata not making that move you were talking about. Stays inside, the ball slides by the head pin, and right now he trails by 14 pins. He's going at a 166 pace. His opponent, John Hricsina, at a 180 pace. The match is still up for grabs.
Spare in the 9th frame, Teata Semiz, who won the earlier game over Robert Gibbs, 198 to 190. The mailman, John Hricsina, Franklin, Pennsylvania.
Well, the 6, 7, 10 split in a critical situation as his family looks on, kind of in shock. And I don't really disagree with the type of shot he tried to play there. Under the pressure, he tried to ram the ball into the 1-3 pocket. Not a bad idea. Gets a bad break, though, going high. The 6, 7, 10 split.
In his 7th championship round appearance in 12 senior tournaments. And that family is certainly disappointed, including his wife, Susan. 4 children, John Jr., Bill, Sandy, and Valerie.
As John stands up in the 10th, the match is all even, a possibility of a tie in the semifinal.
.610.
Avoids the 6, 7, 10 split again, gets a good break here in the 10th frame. Needs to convert the 6-10. Teata knows what the story is. If his opponent marks and strikes, he'll need at least a double to win.
John didn't take any time at all. Ups a 10 off the 6.
Chris, the only thing I can say is that these fellas have not been around the national championship environment for long enough time to really adjust the pressure. He was a little quick on that shot, as you mentioned, and he has really opened the door for Teata Semiz. Gibbs did it, opened in the 10th, the last match, to hand the match to Teata. All he needs is a spare or strike, and he'll go on to meet Earl Anthony.
Make a good shot.
Yeah. That he did. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Spring Tour will be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
There's something new coming to you from Budweiser. And if the label turns your head, wait till you taste it. New Bud Dry. The first beer that's both cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for smooth taste with no aftertaste, turn here. Try Bud Dry.
This soap, they say the little people put a spell on it so the scent of it could last a man clean through the day. Capture the lasting scent of Irish spring deodorant soap. The Irish never quit.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park, like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Do I ice her? Do I marry her?
Hired killers by day, lovers by night. Kathleen Turner.
She gotta go.
Jack Nicholson. Pressy's Honor, Sunday.
I never looked in the mirror and thought I was beautiful. I always had the lowest self-esteem of anybody I knew.
Many say it affects crime.
So what if I go to jail?
Relationships.
I just want to feel like I am equal to the situation.
Education.
There's something called self-esteem.
In a primetime special, Oprah Winfrey reports on much that is happening in the name of self-esteem.
It's all coming up tonight, beginning at 8, here on 27 WHTN.
Yeah, we're having a problem with the car. It sounds like...
Don't sound like that. It's...
At Meineke, we can't always tell what's wrong with a car by the sound of the customer. But we can tell a lot from our free under-car inspection. We check your exhaust system, shocks, brakes, and more at no charge. We'll show you what's wrong and what's right. Then you'll know the price before any work begins.
You have a muffler for this.
So bring your car to Meineke. We'll give you a lift without taking you for a ride.
John Reppitz has the score and more on sports, only on 27 News.
If you have the smarts and the guts to study biology, chemistry...
I'm Al Michaels reporting from Belmont Park in New York. Our coverage of the Belmont Stakes will begin in a little more than 20 minutes. A field of 9 going postward in the final leg of the Triple Crown. And take a look at the odds of most unusual betting pattern developing. 36 Red is the favorite. He was 8-1 on the morning line, but as you see, he is 2-1. Unbridled, number 5, the Kentucky Derby winner, who figured to be odds on, is 3-1. And continuing on, there is moderate support, as you see, for Video Ranger, Yonder, and Land Rush. The Belmont comes your way 4:30 Eastern. See you then. Right now, back to Chris Schenkel.
Thank you, Al. And here at the Showboat, Teata Semiz winning his second match over John Hricsina, 175 to 155. So now 2 proven champions go into the championship match of the Showboat PBA Senior Invitational. There they are. Jack Cook, the manager of the lanes. There's the chairman and CEO, Frank Modica, and Cliff Taylor, the executive vice president. Great hosts. We've been coming here for 29 years. There's 49, and that means not only does the Showboat Hotel Casino have the largest bowling center in the United States with 106 lanes, it now houses the largest bingo parlor, the 1,500-seat Bingo Gardens. Well, on Friday, customers were treated to their first glimpse of this luxurious room. This latest addition is part of a major renovation and expansion project at the Las Vegas Resort. President and CEO Frank Modica calls the building a bright new showboat, and here is still a bright senior, many-time Hall of Fame champion Vic Weber.
Well, thank you very much, Chris and Bo. It's very nice to be with both, and hope we see an exciting match here. You know, the scores have been pretty low, but I think things will change now with 2 champions we have out there now.
Okay, you and Teata each has won 5 senior titles. Here's Teata going for number 6, but Earl Anthony is his opponent.
That's the tough part, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Although, remember, Earl has never won at the Showboat. 7 second-place finishes.
And what a way to open
Kind of a psych job there, Chris. Teata has always had trouble beating Earl. Teata had a chance to win the Firestone in 1978, and he bowled Earl in the championship round. Earl beat him 237 to 192. Teata never got untracked, and there's certain psychological advantage to Earl Anthony right here in this match.
All right, so it's an open frame. Teata giving himself motivation hand clasp coming back to the settee. Now here he is. Hall of Famer, 41 regular titles, 1 senior, 43 second place finishes. Would you say, Mr. Weber, that was awesome?
Well, yes, it is. Anytime you watch Earl Anthony bowl, it's awesome. But, you know, he's made such a change in his game. I'm surprised when I first came to Showboat here this year that he's more upright and throwing the ball a little bit harder than he normally does.
Good point, Dick. First thing I noticed also, he's a much longer swing. He's about 9 inches higher with his backswing and makes his pendulum much longer, and he feels like he needs that on today's lanes conditions, which hook so much more than they did 10 years ago.
Immediately puts the pressure on his opponent, Teata Semiz, jumping out to a 21-pin lead with the double.
The great pin action, head pin to the sideboard, drives out the 3, 6, and 10. Little action on the 7th, and he has Teata in trouble in the early going.
Great comeback. 5-time senior champion, 3 times the regular tour after an open, is striking the second for Teata.
Teata, who has been somewhat confused in his 2 matches out here today, has never really got lined up to the 1-3 pocket. Made a little bit of a change that time. He went harder and straighter towards the pocket, giving up some of that hook ball. And I think that's the smartest thing he can do. We can remember Amleto Monticelli winning here 3 years ago using the same technique. Forget the big hook, go straight at the 1-3 pocket.
All right, and that double puts Teata in good position now. But Anthony is up. 11-pin lead by the native of the state of Washington.
He's got to like it, the trip 4.
Then came the stopper, 7-10, replaying the form and the shot.
Earl quickly up, taking a whack at the 7-pin, unhappy with that shot. And I'll tell you what happened right after we see him go at the 7-pin here is very simply, Chris, he's got a much longer arm swing than he used to have. Now watch Earl's arm swing. He'll lose this ball at the bottom of the swing, something he never did with the short arm swing. See it above his head, he gets his shoulders forward, and that ball just slides off that thumb. I noticed him 3 or 4 times last night lose the ball at the bottom of the swing, and he told me to, before we went on the air, if there's any danger to his game, it's that losing the ball off his thumb. So let's see if he can recover as he's dropped behind Teata Semiz, 4th frame.
Led by 21 at one point. Instead, a 4-6-10.
The feel of the bowling ball, also important. Now, whether your name's Earl Anthony or anybody else, you must feel comfortable as you see Earl squeezing the ball a little bit here in the 4th, drifting high, has left the 4-6-10 split. He'll just go for the 6-10, and he'll be in trouble.
All right, we're in the championship match of the Showboat PBA Seniors Invitational. More after this.
Kiss? Not right now.
You really don't want to kiss me.
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Give me a minute, honey.
Don't let morning breath ruin a good morning. Get Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Didn't I hear something about a kiss?
Right here. Right now.
Kiss. It is time for a kiss.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
Hey, you. Put that kiss right here.
The rush of icy clean freshness.
Now you can feel it every morning with the power of peppermint. Peppermint Scope.
A muffler isn't something you just stick under your car. The wrong one can really hurt your engine performance and fuel economy. Midas quality mufflers are installed by experts and backed by a great guarantee. Ain't nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Showboat, standing room only crowd. This is the championship match. Teata Semiz, who trailed by 21, leads by 14, a double up. Well, Vic Weber.
Well, you know, Teata's been fighting that lane all the way through, even in practice, and in fact, that particular shot, he really thumbed the ball, what we call thumb the ball. It's never got the thumb out of the ball at all, and it really an overturned shot, pulled shot, terrible bad shot.
And almost more importantly, lost a lot on pin count. When you get a 6 count, then 8 out on the fill ball with a double up, your count drops dramatically, and now he trails Earl Anthony by 4 pins. The action must pick up right here. There's 6 frames left for the championship. Both players proven winners. They'll go right now to the whip, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Like there. 2 opens for Teata, but that's his 3rd strike in this championship game. Anthony with 2 strikes, 2 opens, now shooting in the 5th.
Earl one of 4 men to go over $1 million. The first man, Pete Weber, one of those players, Roth and Holman.
But the real big millionaire is right here in the booth with us, Vic Weber. Great strike by Earl Anthony. We asked Earl if, after such a superlative career, are there any bowling goals remaining?
Oh, Bo, I don't really have any goals so much. It's just to really, more than anything, not embarrass myself when I come out here. So I've been working very hard on my game. If I can make good shots, I'm happy.
And everybody's glad to see him out. And right now, he can extend his lead to 14 with a strike in the 6th.
A 9.
I don't think he was happy with the shot in the first place, Bo. He really reared up a little bit, hoping to get close to the pocket, but wasn't really great shot at all.
Well, I think you're right there, Dick. Plus, these players aren't in competition year-round like the touring players, and it does show up under the pressure. But it's match play competition, and it's a very tight match. 4-pin difference.
Okay. Earl Anthony, who in the 70s won over 30 tournaments. Vic Weber, who has won in about 5 decades, is here with Nelson Burton and me, and we have watched this man over the years perform.
Key shot for Teata right now. He's struggling on the right lane. He has a strike up, can retake the lead. And that was really a sweet shot. And remember that little words he said about it an hour ago, the hang spot on the right-hand lane is giving him problems. He hit right on that hang spot, as we call it that time. The ball normally would have finished solid in the pocket. Teata comes away with just a 10-pin. If he converts this fair, he'll still trail by 4.
Uh-oh. A lot of hurrying going on here today.
You're right, Chris. You know, these players are so experienced, and I know they've been away from the limelight for a few years, but Teata and Earl especially don't need to hurry up their shots. They know this is match game title situation. Collect those thoughts and take a few extra seconds now. The match is not over, but Teata trails by 16.
And gets them all. Teata Semiz in the 7th frame, a strike. Title game, Seniors Invitational at the Showboat in Las Vegas. We'll be back.
Winning. It can all come down to one spark plug, Champion. No other plug in the world has fired more drivers to victory than Champion spark plugs. Imagine what they can do for you. Champion. We race. You win. Win a trip for 2 to the Australian Grand Prix in the Champion We Race You Win giveaway. Enter now at your participating auto parts store or auto service dealer.
To prove how long Rain Dance car wax lasts, just add water. Rain Dance, the longest lasting protection you can buy.
There's something new coming to you from Budweiser. Something smooth, cold, and refreshing. New Bud Dry. Cold filtered for smooth draft taste, and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So if you're looking for a beer with smooth taste and no aftertaste, look no further. Try Bud Dry.
While we were away, this man, Earl Anthony, marked with a spare, covering a 3-pin in the 7th. Then in the 8th, a strike. Very close match against Teata Semiz for the $13,000 champion's share here at the Showboat.
Teata Semiz in the 6th frame had a strike up, had a chance to tighten the match. Once again, the 8th frame, he can cut Earl's lead to 5 pins with a strike.
Crossing over and leaving a 3-10.
Vic Weber, it's just a shame. Teata's not even close, and it's really not his fault. He leaves a 10-pin, he moves over just maybe a half a board, and he's run high.
Well, like you say, he rushed the shot a little bit, and there's no need for it, being a veteran of the sport like he is. But he's just so hesitant about lanes, the right lane, that it tightens everything up. You can't get a free shot.
Well, Earl Anthony doing his best bowling sitting on the bench right now. Every time Teata gets up, he gives Earl a few pins back.
Mentioning sitting on the bench, I won a tournament here sitting on the bench a couple of times. It's not a bad position.
No. Teata still has a chance, needs some strikes.
Converted the split, left the 4. You know, Dick, because of you and the 2 bowlers we're watching, we have viewers, all walks of life. I want to send best wishes to an Automobile Hall of Famer who at Cedars-Sinai this week received a heart transplant. The pal of mine, the great Carol Shelby.
Well, let's send the best to Carol. Our prayers will be with him.
Yes.
For Earl Anthony, he can win the tournament with this shot. A strike here and it's Lock City. If not, he needs to mark in the 9th and 10th frames for his first victory at the Showboat Lanes.
That's a head holder.
Well, obviously confused. Earl, when he went down to one knee, thought he had the winning shot in hand, and now he opens the door wide open. He has to take a look at the scoreboard right now, which he is doing. He's taking a look up, trying to figure out what he must do. He's got a 6 count as you see him go right through the middle. He thinks this is a strike. Ball flips over and opens the door for Teata Semiz. The match is up for grabs.
Game never gets easy.
No, it doesn't, Chris. And, you know, Bo, I think he let up on the shot a little bit, do you?
Well, he tried to aim the ball. He's been a little bit light each time on there, and to going for the win, he softened up. I agree with you, Dick. Went high, but that's not all over yet. He now has a lead of 13 pins. Needs a spare and 8 to lock up the title.
Appearing in his 117th telecast, and over that span of averaging 217, Earl Anthony.
The average is going to drop a little bit on this telecast,
yeah,
but
right.
He's going to walk away with a victory. He needs 8 pins on 2 balls. He's already checked out the scoreboard, and this will be his 2nd seniors title, and I'm sure there'll be more to come.
There's a man that won the Firestone twice. And I know he would tell you that this is one of the more difficult championship matches that he's ever been in. Ups and downs, Dick, all the way through.
Earl decides bowling the Seniors Tour, will bowl some of the regular tour styles. It'll be interesting to see how he does out there among the younger set.
So Earl Anthony has come through as the tournament leader. Shot a 180 here in this championship match. That's $13,000 for Earl. And Teata Semiz will just finish, but he is a runner-up and will receive $7,000 as Frank Modica comes out to present the trophy and check to the great Earl Anthony. And for us here at ABC, was our first seniors telecast. We thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, Bo will be back in 2 weeks. Vic, thank you very much. And for Larry Cam, who goes to the Tour de France, our director, we look forward to seeing you next year on our tour. There's the winner, Earl Anthony, second seniors, 43rd overall. Okay, it is 180 for Earl Anthony, and we'll be back in 2 weeks in Fresno, California. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the Belmont Stakes coming up.
Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Kentucky Derby winner Unbridled goes after the final jewel in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. It's the Belmont Stakes, live. The Professional Bowlers Spring Tour has been brought to you by New Bud Dry, the first beer both cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.